Welcome back to this week's edition of Playmakers. I'm Riley.
And I'm Steph. Can you believe this is our last show of the semester?
I really can't. This year has just flown by, honestly. Living on this COVID campus, I didn't think we'd end up staying here the full semester or even have sports, honestly. So I'm happy we got to be here.
Yeah, it was an exciting and bizarre few months back on campus. Unfortunately, it is coming to an end with this being our last show of 2020.
Here to open our final episode is Gus, who is going to give us an update on what's happening in the world of KU sports. Take it away, Gus.
Thank you, guys. Starting with the Kansas women's basketball team, the team is in an exciting time with their season beginning on Wednesday night at Allen Fieldhouse versus Northern Colorado. Although this and their next game against Texas A&M Corpus Christi will have no fans in attendance, there is plenty to be excited as Kansas has also just signed 3 new players in the 2021 class. Head coach Brandon Schneider announced 3 new players on Tuesday, with 2 of them being forwards and 1 being a shooting guard. Danny Papadopoulou from Thessaloniki, Greece, is one of the 3 signees for the 2021 Lady Jayhawks. At 6'4", she's a center that, according to Coach Schneider, is a skilled back-to-the-basket post player with good hands, good feet, and a soft touch around the rim. She recently competed for the Greek national team and in the 2019 FIBA U16 Women's European Championship. Sanna Strom from Luleå, Sweden is a 5'11" guard who is no stranger to the national stage, as her U16 division team placed first in the European Championships. This past season in the European Youth Basketball League, Strom averaged 11.4 points, 5.8 rebounds, with a 12.9 efficiency rate in 9 games. Coach Schneider says she is a big shooting guard that can score at all 3 levels and also has a great release and deep range. Mateja Nikolak from Skopje, North Macedonia, will look to be another forward for the Jayhawks at 6'4". She also just recently competed with the North Macedonian senior national team in the European Championships and is one of the youngest players who participated in their tournament. Coach Schneider will look to her especially on the offensive end as she has an offensive skill set that makes her a very difficult matchup, with also having the potential to improve the front line dramatically. Kansas women's hoops will look to improve from last year as they try to compete for a Big 12 title this season. We have just 5 days till the Fort Myers tip-off where our men's basketball team will be up against AP's #1 team, Gonzaga. KU has been putting in the work to come out strong this summer, with Marcus Garrett leading the team, as he has been added to the Naismith Trophy watch list for this season. While Marcus will be on the farewell tour, Coach Bill Self is looking for the next Jayhawk leader in the class of 2021. New signee Zach Clemens could potentially fit this mold, as he is a true playmaker. When asked about Clemens, Coach Self described him as a youngster that can really shoot the ball. We haven't had anybody here like Zach that is truly a 4 that can maybe be the best shooter in a game. We're excited to have Zach and can't wait to see what the future holds for him and KJ Adams. The Kansas soccer team finished its fall season with a 4-1 victory over Oklahoma last week. Sherry Holland and Grace Whittigan both recorded multiple assists in the win, and Holland was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week. Kansas finished 4th in the 2020 Big 12 Conference standings with a 5-3-1 record in the pandemic-shortened season. The NCAA has allowed for a soccer championship to take place in the spring of 2021. The tournament teams will be selected on April 18th in 2021. Kansas baseball announced 4 new additions to their 2021 signing class. KU added 2 infielders, Peyton Allen and Tyler Gritty, an outfielder, Chase Janes, and a pitcher, John Simrot. Simrot was highly recruited as he was ranked the number 13 pitcher in the state of California. Head coach Rich Price was impressed with his versatility as he acknowledged his ability to put an advanced spin on the ball as well as making solid contact as a hitter. The Jayhawks won their first match in 4 sets against Texas Tech yesterday. They will be playing again tonight in the Horch Family Volleyball Arena at 6:30 p.m. You can watch this match on the Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Kansas won their first match last weekend as well, battling throughout 5 sets with Jenny Moser doing some major damage with a season high of 25 kills. The second match didn't go as well, with the Jayhawks losing in a 4-set game to Iowa State. KU's games against TCU earlier during the season were postponed due to COVID-19, but they have been rescheduled for the spring, so be on the lookout for those. And that's all we have for KU Sports this week and for this semester. I'm looking forward to an exciting spring semester full of sports news, but for now, back to Steph and Riley.
Thank you, Gus. We'll miss your Kansas sports updates while we're away for break.
We absolutely will, but stay excited because when we come back, we're going to talk about NFL and fantasy football. Stay with us.
Before we jump into our fantasy segment, let's take a look at what's going on in the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers kept their spot on top of the AFC North after their performance last Sunday against the Bengals, ending the game with a score of 36-10 at home. This means the Steelers will stay undefeated with a record of 9-0.
The New Orleans Saints will have to play without their MVP Drew Brees due to multiple rib fractures and a collapsed lung. They believe the broken ribs on his right side and fractured ribs on his left side occurred in their last two games against the 49ers and Tampa Bay. Brees was taken out of the after halftime due to difficulty breathing. They're unsure how long Drew Brees will be out, but are hoping for a return in 2 to 3 weeks.
The Patriots stunned the Ravens this past Sunday, causing a big upset with a score of 23-17. Baltimore had a chance to win the game on the final drive, being down just 6 points, but the weather wasn't in their favor. The very strong rain and wind made it almost impossible for Baltimore's quarterback Lamar Jackson to throw the ball. The game ended with the Patriots on top, 23-17.
That's all we have this week for NFL. For the rest of the season, we'll be watching from home. Now let's see what Gabe and Caleb have for us in their weekly fantasy update.
Thank you, guys. Well, this was an exciting week for fantasy as my players had big performances in the clutch. Despite that, I had a tough loss this week. And with only 3 weeks left in the fantasy season, my shot at the playoffs continued to shrink.
Yeah, this was a great week for me in fantasy as I won my game by almost 40 points with the help of Kyler Murray's 30-piece and DeAndre Swift, Stephon Diggs, and Chase Claypool all getting over 20 points for me. My playoff chances are looking good as now I'm tied for first place in my league.
Yeah, this was definitely a big week for players in fantasy. Yeah, I know Aaron Rodgers had a big week, 3 touchdowns. My kicker, actually, Matt Prater, outscored pretty much most of my entire team. He had a 59-yard game winner at the end of the game, which really kind of helped me put up a lot of points.
Yeah, it was my first game with Stephon Diggs, and he did not disappoint. I mean, it was looking kind of average at first, and then he caught that touchdown near the end. Didn't even matter as D-Hop caught that Hail Mary to win it, but yeah, I'm just looking forward to this week. And the big pickup I made, which I think is going to be really smart, is I picked up Taysom Hill as he is starting at quarterback, and he's eligible at tight end, so I just slid him in right in the flex. Hopefully he can get that 20-point margin for me. I think that'll be big.
Definitely, yeah, and I have Michael Thomas, who's really been underperforming since he came back from injury, but hopefully, yeah, with Taysom Hill now, or Jameis, hopefully he can, step it up. Mm-hmm. And since this will be our last fantasy update for the year, I also wanted to share some key players I think will be valuable, especially come playoff time. And so as Drew Brees will be out for 2 to 3 weeks, I really think Taysom Hill, like Caleb said, will be great against the Falcons this week. Atlanta is definitely ranked last in the league, so I think this will be a good time for him to step up and perform. And if you need a defense as well, I really suggest picking up Kansas City. They've been a little bit shaky early in the season, but they're facing relatively young quarterbacks the remainder of the season, so I expect them to put up big numbers at the end.
Yeah, my pickup for the future would be Lamar Jackson if you can get him. If you're kind of iffy about your QB situation, then Lamar should be a trade target for you very soon. He ends the season playing Dallas, Jacksonville, Cleveland, and Cincinnati, and he should be great coming up in those games.
And that's all we have this year for fantasy. Wishing everyone good luck this year as we near the playoffs. And now we'll head back to Riley and Steph.
For those of you who have been watching the show for the last few semesters, you know this fantasy segment is a new one. And it's been so fun to watch it come together these past few shows.
Absolutely, and we're definitely looking forward to all that Caleb and Gabe have to report back to us come spring. But until then, we're going to take a quick break and take a look at what our basketball connoisseurs have to say this week. Stay with us.
Just say no. Just say no.
Just say no.
Just say no.
Just say no.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
We saw many dreams come true Wednesday night during the 2020 NBA Draft. Last week, Zane and Maya held our first Playmakers mock draft, giving their top 3 and lottery picks.
There was definitely a big competition between the two to see who would come out on top with the best picks, including where our Jayhawks Doak and Dot would land. Now let's send it over to Zane and Maya to try and make some sense of the winners and the losers of this year's draft.
Thank you, Steph and Riley. Wednesday night, the NBA conducted the first bubble draft as players awaited where they would land at home. Although the red carpet wasn't laid out for the players, viewers were given an inside look into the homes and families of the 2020 draft picks. Let's take a look.
Minnesota Timberwolves select Anthony Edwards from the University of Georgia.
So Anthony Edwards with his mother and grandmother with him there in spirit. He knows which hat he can take out of that big box now, and it is the one that belongs to.
The Golden State Warriors select James Weissman from the University of Memphis.
James Wiseman at his home in Nashville, Tennessee, played just a few games for Memphis this past season, but he goes second overall.
The Charlotte Hornets select LaMelo Ball from Chino Hills, California.
LaMelo Ball goes third overall to Charlotte. Hey, look, this is LaMelo's night, but Lonzo still has bragging rights because he went second overall in 2017. And if you know the competitive spirit of the Ball brothers, I would say that after Lonzo gives him his time.
Maya, this year we saw the true impact of the game on our future stars. Now let's get into the top 3 picks to see how well we did with our predictions.
All right, starting with the top 3 picks of the night, I originally had LaMelo going number 1 with James Wiseman following, and the third pick being Isaac Okoro. I made the mistake of not having Anthony Edwards in my top 3, as he surely deserved the first pick.
Yes, though many draft boards had Edwards falling out of the top 3, I still thought he would still go in the top 3. And while I had the Warriors taking him at 2, it's not surprising that the Wolves took him at 1. With Edwards gone, the Warriors at pick 2 had some options to maybe trade and maybe find a different player, but they still kept the pick. And Maya, you were dead on right with the pick.
Yes, thank you. James Wiseman was the best asset for the Warriors, as they also added my dark horse, Nico Mannion, to their roster. Also, with the recent news of Klay Thompson tearing his Achilles, both of these draft picks will be utilized and are definite stars in the making.
Yeah, the Warriors taking Wiseman gives them a threat on both sides of the court at the center position, which they didn't have before. He's going to fit well with whoever the Warriors put in the other 4 positions. The addition of Kelly Oubre Jr. will definitely help them.
Yes, now to the third pick in the draft, who went to the Charlotte Hornets, as they picked up LaMelo Ball, who will be joining former Jayhawk Devontae Graham. This duo could be the next Stephen Clay or Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. The potential in this strong pick could be the turnaround for the franchise. Ball's playmaking skills matched with Graham's shooting abilities and leadership skills will maybe win Michael Jordan that championship he's been wanting.
All right, Maya, I'm going to have to put a little bit of the brakes on you there.
Okay.
Let's not get too ahead. But we can see what Melo and Graham do their first year. And I totally agree the potential is there. And MJ might not be known for only 6 rings in the near future.
Okay.
But Maya, let's go ahead and talk about the 2 Jayhawks that were also a part of this draft, Doc and Doak. Doak going in the first round was very surprising to many. And while Dot didn't get drafted, he still got picked up from the Chicago Bulls, a city that we're both from.
Yes, I'm extremely excited to see what the league has in store for both of our Jayhawks. Udoka was picked in the first round, headed to the Utah Jazz to join Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. This is a great fit for Doak, as he will be able to learn from Rudy Gobert and really find himself and begin to develop as a role player for this offense.
I agree. Doak has the potential of becoming a defensive monster like Gobert and definitely will thrive on the Utah Jazz. And for Dot, he's going to be a great backup for the Bulls, and he can even play small ball 2 guard for them if they want to play Kobe White and Devon Dotson at the same time. Hopefully both these Jayhawks will thrive with the teams that they are now on.
Yes, well, welcome home, Dot, and Bulls Nation is definitely happy to have you. And Doak, we can't wait to see what you'll do in Utah. Steph and Riley both have picks of their own on where Doak and Dot
would have gone. So were you guys surprised to see their new teams?
I mean, I think both teams would have been a good fit for Doak and Dot. They will definitely learn a lot and become valuable assets to their teams.
Agreed. We might see a Rookie of the Year or a playoff appearance to finally get that championship they deserved last year. That was great, guys, and it was so exciting to see Devon Dotson and Udoka Azubuike get drafted this year.
Absolutely. It was wild to see them on my TV rather than just looking down at them from the bleachers of the Fieldhouse. I'm really looking forward to watching their careers, especially Dotson, who will be heading to my city as well.
It looks like things went pretty well for us Jayhawks this year. All in all, we had a very successful semester and sports went on. That's all we could have hoped for. Now I'm just looking forward to get back on campus in the spring to watch the basketball season begin.
Absolutely. After being robbed of our title last year, here's hoping we have a fighting chance of going all the way this season. That's all the time we have this week. From all of us here at the Playmakers, don't forget to tune back in next semester to get all of your sporting news. See you back here in 2021, Jayhawks.